Okay, in this video we're going to continue with the door idea. Just going to make an amendment to this. So this is based on exactly the same door that we're doing in the other series. So I've got my interaction on there where I press E and it will open. And that is with the blueprint interface. So let's go in, press this. What I've done with this is I've done something slightly different though. So our normal door just opened, and it opened to 180 degrees. What I've done with this one is made it so I can actually control the amount it opens. So we can see exactly the same door, exactly based on the same blueprint, but I have different amounts that this can open. Okay. So again, let's just show you this. Let's just escape. Let me just take my interaction. I've got my door. I'll just put a texture on this. Let's drag this up. Just press end. Let's alt drag this. So let's say I didn't want this to open as much. I want this to open the full amount. So what I've added onto this is an open limit now. So the default is 180. Let's set this to something like 90. And then this is set to its default of 180. Let's go in here. Let's open that one. See, that only opens that amount. Let's open this one. And that opens a full way. So again, just adding a bit of customization to our doors in case we get a situation like this where within this door I don't want it to open all the way, because if it did it would go through this back wall here. Okay, so we can just control that. So let's look at how we can do this. I've already added this to the script, but what I'll do is I'll go through the script and we'll re-add this into it. Okay, so this is my door, this is my blueprint for this, exactly the same as we had. In fact, I've got a copy of this down here that we can work on. So what I'll do is I'll just unplug this and I'll do it on this copy down here instead. So it kind of works around the timeline. So rather than having this set amount here, so here I've got this amount, this is going to, it's not 180, it's 160, taking over 3 seconds to get that distance. Okay, so we want to do this a different way. Instead, I want to not have this limited to this amount. I want to be able to change this round. So what I'm going to do initially, I'm just going to take off, it's going to have this linear. I'm just going to take off that interpolation. And on this one, I'm going to set a value of 1 instead. So this is now, just press F, this is going from a value of 0 to 1. Okay. I will put my auto back onto this and just bring this out. So I still want this kind of speed out. So it starts off fast and then gets slower towards the end. So that's done. Exactly the same. I've just added that to 1 instead of whatever the value was, 160, 180. Let's just compile and save that. Let's close our timeline. So instead of this going directly into this new rotation now, so this is setting the rotation, I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. What I want is to do something different here. I want to be able to control the amount that we're opening this by. So I've created a variable. I've just created this as an integer. It could be a float as well, whatever you want, but I've called this open limit. So remember, to create a variable, just click on the plus, create that, set its type. I've compiled it and saved it so that we can set a default, and I've set that to 180, and then I've made that public. So that just means, remember, that when we click on our door we can actually access this here if we need to. Okay, so that's going to be my amount that the door can open. That's going to be my variable on this. So let's drag this in, my open limit. Let's get that. Okay. So what I need to do now is I need to break some of these structs. So I'm going to take this initially. I'm going to click Alt, click on that to break that. I'm going to keep this rotation here, but I'm going to do this in a different way. So I'm going to drag out of, in fact, no, I'm just going to right click and I'm going to search for a lerp, and it's this lerp rotator. So what this will do is allow us to go between two values, or mix together two values. So we're going to have our start value, which is our initial door position, and then our end value, which is our new door position. And we're going to use this amount, this 0 to 1, as a mask, essentially, as an alpha in this. So as it's at 0, it's going to be at this value. As it's at a value of 1, it's going to go to this value. So this allows us to actually merge from one rotation to another rotation. So my beginning rotation is 0, 0, 0. I'm going to leave that as it is. You could set an initial door rotation as well, variable, but we don't need to do that. It's based on the door anyway, which is shut. So let's leave that for now. What I do want to do is I want to right click over this and split this struct pin. And then this is going to be my new close value. That's just creating a converter to convert that from an integer to a float. As I said, you could have this as a float anyway, and then it would go straight in, but it's not a massive issue. Unreal does that for us. So now we're going to use this amount, this 0 to 1. Remember, that's going to be our alpha. So I'm going to drag that in here. So value 0 up here. As that value goes to 1, it starts merging over to this value here. Let's take this value. Again, let's just split the struct pin. And I'm going to just take out my rotation Z, my yaw value, and I'm going to plug this into this new rotation. Okay. So I just kind of, this is the difference, this lerp rotator. So we're getting into here, and we're lerping between these two values. That is essentially that. Let me just make sure that this is, yep, closed off. So let's compile and save that. Let's just make sure that this is still working. Okay, I broke it somewhere. Let's have a look at this. No, everything should be as is. It's my custom event, that's why. Let's grab this. And let's just bring this down. Remember, this is from my interact. And let's just plug that in. There you go. So hopefully that works now. There we go. Okay, so I can set my doors to any different amount. And the way I've got that, again, let's just delete these. I can drag a version of this in. What I've done with this, I mean, you can just do a value on that, but I've still got my open and closed amount. So what I kind of did is left that on there so that I can choose which amount I want to open it on. So let's say it was 104, and I'm just rounding that off. So let's just set back to 0. Set that to 104. And then have that opening that amount. Okay. Okay. So just add that extra bit of customization and flexibility onto your door blueprint, and there we go.